Well, there's the man, Shane Walker. Well, they say that front rowers don't mature till they get a little bit later in age. I'll tell you what, this guy here has absolutely just killed them this year. Full season with the Tigers, but look at the average tackles and hit-ups. He's just a workaholic.
And Paul Sirenen, it's a special day for Ciro. His 33rd birthday. He'd love to cap it with 2 competition points.
I don't know if it's really his 33rd birthday. It might be a little bit extra, just quietly.
He's missed a couple of years like your good self.
Yes, you're dead right there. I had to take some off.
Just moments away from a kickoff, it will be the Tigers running towards the northern end, and our referee is Paul McBlain. His 73rd game in the top grade. The Tigers, as we said, 4 straight losses. And as you said, Paul, they were in a share of the competition lead after 6 rounds of great 5-1 record. Now it's 5-5, and they are on the fringe of the top 10. Shannon Nevin awaits the kickoff. And Damien Kennedy for the Magpies gets us underway at Leichhardt. A long kickoff almost to the dead ball line where Shane Walker fields it and brings them back just outside the Balmain 10-metre line.
You can see the Western Suburbs side straight away. They're playing a very, very short defence pack. They're about 25 metres in on this right-hand side. They've got to go one more past the Balmain.
An early mistake from the Tigers. They spread the ball early there and had a chance on the left-hand side where Stimson put it down cold. So now the Magpies, the first real chance of the game here in the opening second. Sirenen, a heavy tackle on the winger, Brett Hodgson. He'll play it back to Mesha. There's Howard. Mesha now goes to his left-hand side, gives it away to Chris Yates. And they're just 10 away from the Tigers' line. Early pressure for the home team. Dinova away to Georgialis, back at 5'8". Good ball on the inside for Kennedy. An important tackle made by the captain, Sirenen. They go the blind again. Good ball from Langmack. McGuinness couldn't come up with it. They were in to score if he could.
Well, they could have gone down the other end for Balmain before, but McGuinness didn't play in the state of Orange. What's the great little short ball there? The lower Milford coming off his wing, just lucky enough to have grab that ball.
He's one of their danger men, Paul Langmack, for Western Suburbs. He likes to attack the fringes with plenty of options.
Paul Sirenen back in the side this week. Here he is hitting it up and offloading. A good ball away to O'Neill. He gives it off to Webber. Tries to push away from Kevin McGuinness. He can't do so, and he's brought down 10 metres on his own side of halfway. Michael Gillette, cut-out pass for Duckworth, who spins, and he's tackled by Dinova. And on the sideline with us this afternoon, Peter Mulholland. And Peter, we've already seen what an important part of this Tigers side that Paul Sirenen, the captain, is.
Yes, you're right, Warren. I think Sirenen back in the side, the Tigers look very, very formidable. I think with his experience, the young blokes around him seem to rise to the occasion. It takes a little bit of pressure off Shane Walker as well. But I think from the Magpies' point of view, we talk about a couple of players out there, but Damien Kennedy and certainly the return of Georgialis is going to be a big impact from the Magpies, and I might go the other way on Gary Freeman's tip and take the Maggies.
Well, they've turned the ball over here. Scott Coxon it was, in jumper 12, who lost the ball in the tackle. He played 5'8" last week against the Chargers. Well, here there may have been a hand in there perhaps from.
Well, I don't think there was a hand in there. I think it's just a big hard tackle. He lost the ball before he actually hit the ground.
Some big hits. It's been a great start to the game, hasn't it? Both forward packs really getting into it early.
The Magpies forward pack, of course, a big part of that win last week against the Chargers. That's where they'd been falling down in those losses. They went winless from rounds 3 to round 10. It was a dark period for the club. They've been coached this week by their lock forward and captain Paul Langmack, in the absence of Tommy Rodonicus, who was on duty with New South Wales. A great ball, and here come the Tigers. 25 metres away from the Magpies line. Dunley gives it off to Gillette. Had options. Poor pass in the end, intended for Bubba Kennedy. It's picked up by Milford. The scorer of a hat-trick of tries against Penrith some weeks ago now, when the Tigers were on fire. That seems a long time ago. Well held there by Kennedy. A couple of dodgy passes here in this set of 6. Now, Stimson down the blind side, picks up 15 metres. They'll have one more tackle. Dunley it is, who goes to the air. Pressure early on for Jared Mills on the wing. He coughs that up. The Tigers will get 6 more tackles. Just 10 metres away from the line now.
And Jared Mills coming up with a mistake. There's the Balmain side go left.
Gillette gives it away to Duckworth, who was up quickly to the line, but the Magpies are up too quickly from the defensive line.
Back out.
Duckworth was looking for a moment to take the quick tap and go on with it. Let's listen in to Paul McBlain here, who has found something to speak to Paul Langmack about.
You want 10 players, all right? I know it's a deliberate ploy. Let's just get them back and you keep them on side. I need you to do that, Paul.
Interesting to note there, Paul McBlain saying that you're doing a ploy there. I already know you're going to do it there, Langmack, so stay on side because he's getting up very, very quick and stopping the ball getting out wide by the Balmain side.
Yeah, that's right. The way West are defending, they, as Gary mentioned earlier, they've got a very short defensive line. So unless the players inside don't get up and hassle the Balmain attackers, they're really going to find themselves short on numbers on the fringe.
I just couldn't believe the kickoff.
Yeah.
They were so compressed, and if they'd held the ball, Balmain, they would have been down 90 metres down the field.
They had a 3-on-1 overlap after the kickoff. I think taking the 2 here has really let the pressure off West. They were under quite a bit of pressure having a repeat set of 6.
And this is a surprise. Paul Langmack coming from the field and heading up the tunnel. He didn't go to the bench in the Magpie section of the tunnel his side. Norman Latcham Robinson stands, so that is a big surprise to see the captain come off so early.
Mate, he signalled that he's got an injury of some sort. Looks like a bit of a hammy too. He signalled straight to the bench as soon as that penalty was awarded that he was no good.
Shannon Nevin now can make the Magpies pay with 2 points. Hooked it slightly, but he does put the Tigers in front. 2-0 with Leichhardt.
Yeah, I think Paul Langmack injured himself in that when Ken McGuinness dropped the ball and had a scoring opportunity. He was very slow to get back in the defensive line. I saw him hobbling back into the line, so he must have some sort of leg problem.
It was Langmack who threw the pass, of course, and the Magpies went so close to scoring themselves. So they'll play from behind in this game.
Stay behind.
The Nevin penalty early on gives the Tigers first points. Kennedy again with a high kickoff. Not much of a breeze at Leichhardt. Really no advantage to either side. Here's Walker returning the kickoff as ever for the Tigers. O'Neill.
Sorry, mate. Once again, you'll see the Balmain side. They'll go wide straight away. They have to. There's no one at home for West side.
In this compressed defensive line, they are in close to the ruck once again. Here come the Tigers to the left-hand side. They are fanned out. A good ball back on the inside to Stimson. He was almost through the gap. Walker, his second head up in this possession. Good ball again as well, offloading, staying alive with it. O'Neill got it away to Webber. He almost pushed away from Kevin McGuinness.
Yeah, he's been a real danger man for Balmain this year, Jason Webber. He scored 6 tries, their leading try scorer.
Dunley with an overlap again. Ken McGuinness. Stepping back on the inside was Kennedy, who died with the ball. I'm sure he didn't know that was the last tackle.
Well, he must have known because Dunley was backing him up on the outside. He'd come around with him. That's good defence there by the Balmain front row and second row. Big Ciro. Yeah, welcome to Leichhardt.
They missed him last week in that hefty loss to the Panthers. He's out to make amends for his absence. Brilliant start to this game. Chris Yates, all taken heavily around the shoulders by Ben Duckworth.
Warren Langmack's got a medial ligament problem, and I think as Paul Green said, it was in that tackle that when Kenny McGuinness dropped the ball about that try that went missing a couple of minutes ago, but he's back out there now.
He is, and it's Darren Willis who replaced Langmack, who's come from the field as Howard is tackled. 35 away from the Tigers' line. They haven't been able to make up much ground in this set of 6 tackles. Dinifer goes high, almost to the try line and handled on the fingertips by Shannon Nevin.
Great take from Nevin, but I think Dinifer would be a bit disappointed in that kick. It's a good option on the last tackle, but just a little bit too deep. No pressure under Nevin.
The thing about it, you've got the Balmain markers. They just chase like crazy.
Stepping through the ruck area was Adam Naval. He picked up 20 metres too. They're 12 away from the halfway line. Michael Gillette takes it to the defensive line. Jerry Mesher went low. Dunley to Duckworth. Another hit up. Almost gets through the line. He can't quite offload, but he has been dangerous down that right-hand side for the Tigers. Here's Webber. He takes them on. Pushes away from Mills. Got a kick which was charged down. Not played at, says Paul McBlain. And the Tigers, I think, didn't expect the kick to come in. The Magpies get it in good position.
Well, I think Michael Gillette's got to get in there and take control of that kicking game. That's twice. Once they've been caught on the 5th by not throwing the ball or making the kick, and again on the right-hand side by Webber.
Mesher now gives it to Jarlis. And a good handoff from McGuinness. Falling with the sideline was Hodgson. He was tackled by his opposite number, Milford. Long pass from Georgalis to Dinova. Howard standing flat-footed, wasn't expecting that. And the Magpies going nowhere far, still on their own side of halfway.
Just, you've got to put that down to the good defence by Balmain, getting out there and hassling them as much as they possibly could. And Dinova gets a nice little kick in there. Get to the Balmain 20. And when you've got that defence that's coming up in your face all day long, it makes you make up your mind a lot quicker. Just a little slide defence.
Dinova got the kick in there. I don't think he's been quite as involved as he was early on last week against the Gold Coast Chargers when he was dynamite, especially in attack.
Yeah, I think Dinova and Paul Langmack, they're the two real keys to this Western Suburbs side. Langmack always having their attack organised, and I think Dinova's got to get their kicking game going too.
He made 20 metres with the ball before the kick then. You need to a bit more go forward going on to threaten the Tigers. Gillette now goes from dummy half.
Defences are so tight these days. Sides have to have good kicking games if they're going to do any good. And one guy, Mick Gillette, he's very important to this Balmain side. He's got a great kicking game, but he just hasn't got it going early on in this match.
Chris McPherson, blonde-headed front rower, coming off the bench for the Tigers. Plays it now, back to Nabel. Sirinen, to set something up for his outside men there. Maybe change their mind at the last moment.
This is where Gillette's got to get in. And the kick comes from the hooker, Adam Nabel. Good little kick there by the little dummy half.
Picked up around about 30 metres. It will be a loose and feed to the Magpies, 10 metres out from their own line.
As we see Adam Nabel step out from dummy half and put the kick down into the corner. It's very handy to have a hooker that can kick out of dummy half. It takes a lot of pressure off your halves and your normal kickers.
The Tigers have struggled in recent times when Nabel has been off the field and Hudson Smith has come off the bench to play the role of the dummy half, and things break down a little bit amongst the forwards when that does happen. Wayne Pearce will be hoping that Nabel can stay injury-free during the 80 minutes. Same
as with Darren Centre. He's a player that certainly would be missed as the Tigers give away a penalty for not being back to 10 metres. Centre, I reckon he was probably their best player up to 4 weeks ago, and that's what happens. Oh, gee, a little bit unlucky there, the Balmain side to caught inside the 10.
The last 5 minutes or so, the team has barely had possession inside the other team's 20 metres. Darren Fritz back on the field, reborn with the Magpies, after missing a lot of football in a dispute with the North Sydney club. Mesha now, after the play the ball from Yates. Coxon is met by both Stimson and McPherson.
Great defence there from Balmain, really getting up and bustling West. They're struggling just to get into gear here.
Langmack just looking for runners. Isn't really hitting the line with any pace at all. Dinova close to the ruck on the last tackle. Steps back inside, held onto by Nabel. A good thing. They'll play it with one more left. Langmack switches it to the left-hand side. Georgalis rolling it in, looking to trap Nevin. It's a good kick, beautifully weighted, and they will get the ball back again. Good work that time by the 5'8".
Yeah, it's good work, of course, but it all comes down to Dinova making a little break inside. Little kick there put through by Georgalis. Just weighted beautifully. Nevin was hoping, look, I hope it goes over the dead in goal. And good chase there too by Jared Mills.
So now the Magpies will get a chance to go deep on attack. Georgalis, who had been missing, one of a number of Magpies who've been out of action this year. They've only had 3 players play every game in the top grade for them. Well down on the average for most clubs, where they've had 7 or 8 players play every game. Now Kennedy has been good in the second row for West. Fritz taking it up. Pick up 10 metres as well. He's only 11 metres out from the line. Balmain's defence under threat here. Langmack, cut-out ball. Second man play for Leeds, who got it away to Hodgson. But he's wrapped up by Kennedy and Milford and almost pushed into touch. Ken McGuinness, happy to be on the park after watching the entire game last night for New South Wales from the bench. A loose ball, 6 to go, says McBlain. More pressure for the Tigers. Mesha Georgiala stepping back inside. They're up inside the 10 again. Will they take the 2?
It's a tough decision here for the captain. It looks like he's decided to take the 2, but you know, they had Balmain under quite a bit of pressure, and getting an early try for West would be very handy, but just opted to take the 2.
The one thing with the Balmain defence there, you can see they're only probably back 7 or 8 metres, so it's fair indication by the referee to say, listen, boys, you've got to get with me. Where the referee is actually standing, that's exactly where the Balmain players were. So unless he wanted them to get back to the line, I don't know.
Peter Mulholland, the Tigers' early form, of course, was built on the fact that their defence was almost the best in the league for the first 5 or 6 rounds. Has slipped in recent times. They're down to the 9th best record as far as defence is concerned at the moment. So far, they've stood strong today.
They have, Warren. I think the big thing is, as you allude to, with its defences up in their faces, Balmain play. I mean, West need to get that little short kicking game in behind and perhaps an earlier tackle and work it from there to put this defence into 2 minds. But again, Ciro's giving him a little bit up the middle today that they probably missed last week as well.
So Dinova with what looks like almost a rashy wetsuit underneath the jumper. He might have come straight from the beach after doing a spot of boogie boarding.
It's all about protection.
He'll try and level it up. He's done so. We are tied 2 each between the Tigers and the Magpies at Leichhardt.
Well, there you go. If you give away penalties like that, this bloke here, Dinova, will kick the goal. Seeing Big Ciro there having a little bit of a rest on the sideline. He said he was only going to probably play 22 minutes, but it was going to be absolutely mind-boggling how he was going to play. He just needs his young front rowers and second rowers to get around him, help him out and get going, get a good go forward. And Gillette has certainly got to take over that kicking role and get a bit of kicking game in for the Balmain Tigers.
Fritz picks up the kickoff. 15 minutes gone. Howard takes it forward for the Magpies, midway between their own try line and the halfway line. Cherry Mesher scrambling for 5 or 6 metres. Langmack, the captain in the dummy half, gives it away to Darren Willis. Back on the field for his second stint. Off the bench in jumper 15. Darren Fritz again gets the advantage line and then some. On the last tackle, Dinova, a midfield bomb. Pressure now for Donaghy on the right wing for the Tigers. Took it very well. That's a very good take, but I tell you, once again, it's the Balmain defence getting up in the face of Dinova and putting him off his kicking game. That's why he's not getting good length. He's only kicking in the middle of the field.
Gary, they've got to kick it 1 tackle early to take the pressure off him.
Well, the Balmain side, they just set themselves a line and just say, see, you go, here we go, because no one else is going to kick the ball.
On the right-hand side of the field, the Tigers go again. It's been their best section of the field so far in this opening 16 minutes. Now they spread it to the left-hand side. The Magpies not so compressed in defence at the moment as Gillette stepped back off his left foot to be tackled by Willis. Nabel on the last tackle. Poor option again on the last tackle by the Tigers, and Wayne Pearce won't be happy about that. They've turned over possession so meekly.
Well, Dudley had set himself up on the left-hand side, and then the young hooker and Nabel decided to go out to the right, and like you said, a very, very poor option once again for the Tigers.
Yeah, I don't think he realised it was the last tackle then. They're really looking for a much better option on the last tackle.
Well, there's a penalty, stripping the ball.
Hands out of the ball.
So it's the Magpies who will get the kick for line. Siri Lang off the bench as well, took it forward. 3 Tigers in there. And you see Mark O'Neill, no doubt about that. Just getting the right hand in and hooking the ball out.
Well, I don't understand why the players, they know that there's 2 in the tackle. Why would you even bother? Why would you only risk it? That's good defence there. Hudson Smith.
Exactly right. Around the chest of Harvey Howard to stop his progress. Darren Fritz now. They take the ball midfield inside the Balmain 40. Dinova to Langmack, standing 1 off the ruck. Hit it forward, offloads though. And Mesher, he'll take the tackle just outside the 20. It's been all the Magpies as far as field position is concerned. They haven't come up with a try as yet. Dinova turning it back for Willis, who was intending to go back on the inside but had to stop. He almost collided with Dinova, who was on the ground and not looking too well at the moment. Now McGuinness. The ball comes loose. And Paul McLean is going to rule. He lost it himself.
Going back to that Dinniver tackle, that was Hudson Smith that come in and just said, look, here we go, I'm going to take you right out. Let's see if he gets the ball stolen. Oh, there's a little hand in there.
Yeah, it could have gone either way, one of those things. I think McGuinness was just in a bit of a hurry there to get a good quick play the ball for the next play.
So a wasted chance for the Magpies.
Well, knowing that Dinniver's carrying a little bit of an injury now, as well as the half, he's got to penalise Paul Langmack. He was out of the scrum and 5 metres away from it.
He's been around for quite a number of years, played well over 300 games. He's got all the tricks in the trade, Langers, hasn't he?
Yeah, but if the referee's there, standing there, says, get in, get in, get in, and you stay out, he must penalise him, Paul.
Yeah, I agree with you.
I thought you would.
And you are right, Peter Mulholland, captain coach this week of the Magpies. Siri Lang got a hand to it, knocked the ball down, and now Paul McLean gets a word from his touch judge that the ball did go forward off the touch. For a moment there, he was going to let play go on.
Yeah, I think he thought he got away with it at the start. I know Paul Langmack was out there calling for 6 to go as we see him playing the ball, but he must have got a call from one of his touch judges.
Yeah, the play before is where he's knocked the ball on, but I actually thought he had his left arm out and he's knocked the ball back towards his own try line. So I don't know how that is a knock on, because the referee thought it was play on, so the touches made the decision for him.
I'll go against you. I thought it was a knock on.
No.
Just to be the devil's advocate.
Okay.
It's the only reason. Now Webber, picked up very heavily there by Kevin McGuinness. No call from McBlain. Could have been very easily penalised. He was taken to the parallel and then some. Here it is again. Have a look at this.
Nothing wrong with that. It's just a very, very good tackle, and Kevin McGuinness has shown some strength there.
No doubt about that, but we've seen tackles a lot less, well, past the parallel than that, penalised in recent weeks. Now Sirinen to the left-hand side. Kennedy trying to push away from Ken McGuinness, who brings him down 40 out from the west line. The Tigers need a good set of 6 here. Dunley chipping, looking for Nevin coming through to the ball. Couldn't quite get to it. Knocked it forward. Play on, a chance for the Magpies. Leeds has it. Feigned the basketball pass. Still a chance on the left-hand side. The Tigers stretched. McGuinness, who did have a man outside him there, he tries to get a quick play of the ball away, and it's Kennedy. Jared Mills was out there with no one marking him, and he might have had a free passage to the line had he been able to get the ball in his hands. Fritz now inside the Tigers 30. They've picked up some good metres in the first 4 tackles here. Another penalty against Balmain.
Mesha pleading with McBlain there for the penalty, and eventually going their way as we see the Fritz tackle. Walker's just over the top. He started very well at the start of this game, Shane Walker, but just going on a little bit too far.
He's gone on a little bit too far, but I'll tell you one thing too. Darren Fritz has not even made an inch of an effort to get up to play the ball. He just laid there. And Mesh is going, come on, come on.
How did he get up, mate? He had that bloke laying all over him.
No,
2 blokes.
Paul Sirinen questioned Paul McBlain about it.
You're allowed to move your legs, you know.
He's a pretty big fella, Wiz.
I know. He's run over me a couple of times.
Fellas, don't you reckon the side that gets their kicking game in order here is going to get the upper hand very, very shortly? One of the sides has just got to take control of that, and the field position's waiting for them.
It definitely. I'm a bit surprised by Mick Gillette. His kicking game's spot on, but he just really hasn't got himself involved enough, I don't think.
Certainly hasn't been a factor in this first 21.5 minutes when the Tigers have had the ball inside West half. It's the bodyboarder himself, the halfback, Blair Dinniver, attempting to put the Magpies in front. A very tight affair. About 28 metres out, and 20 metres in from the eastern touchline. Struck it well, but he hooked it at the same time. But they will get the ball back from a 20-metre restart. And there's Darren Fritz. He is a big lad, isn't he?
He's a monster.
A high kicker. It comes to Leeds. Away to Damien Kennedy. Good restart. Mesha to George Arliss. Away to Jared Mills, who's almost pushed into touch by Donaghy. Now Chris Yates, met by Shane Walker. The Tigers best in defence. Cut out pass from Dinniver to Langmack. McGuinness got on the outside of Kennedy, who hung on to him, and a good thing he did. Inside pass from Leeds to Hodgson. Kennedy comes again. Desperate to stop the attack. McGuinness now. Oh, well. Leeds was heading back on the inside. McGuinness didn't realise through the pass, and Leeds put it down cold.
Well, I think Ken McGuinness knows he's done something wrong there. You can see him grab at his head going, oh, what have I done? The kid, I think, is just trying too hard today, missing out on the State of Origin last night. He's out there, he's run the wrong way to the right-hand side, where West was stretched out to their left-hand side. Just trying too hard, young Ken McGuinness.
Well, the Tigers looking to get something going. I was about to say there's hardly been a line break in this game, but if one was to come, you would think it would be the Tigers, who have done well down this blind side. Webber met by Kevin McGuinness. What a duel they've had in the opening quarter of this game. Well, a mistake now. Shane Walker comes up with a knock on. And really, both coaches at this stage would be tearing their hair out.
Well, Wayne Pearce was certainly not happy about his performance last week, and this first 40 again is probably not their best in this competition. Very disappointed there with Shane Walker coming up with another error, and that's really the only thing that's really beaten the Balmain side, is scoring tries down this end. They just can't hold the ball when they need it.
Both sides really making some really, just basic mistakes. And this game, it's there for the taking. If one of the sides want to just get their game together, get their kicking game going and play some good, solid, basic football, it's there for them.
Well, and it's not going to be like within 2 or 4 points. It's going to be in 20.
Yeah, that's right. The way the game's gone so far.
Completion rates have been pretty ordinary. Now Georgalis, way to Leeds, chiming in from the base of that scrum. Coxon, 40 metres away from the Tigers line. Tigers, 6 of 8 as far as completions. The Magpies, just 4 of 9 sets of 6.
They might have been right there with the Balmain side with the completion, but they haven't come up with the right way. They've all ended up on the 50-yard mark instead of 70 metres down the other end.
Yeah, they need a much better result on their last tackle. Just got to take some better options.
Staccato play the ball once again, and the Magpies just aren't clicking at the moment there. They had numbers to the left-hand side as well. Langnack realised that. The pass, though, didn't find its target. O'Neill, 8 metres on his side of halfway.
Warren, that just had to go through hands then. I mean, they had the numbers, it just had to go through a set of hands and not worry about that cutout pass.
Here's Walker. Gets it away, another offload for him. Comes back to Stimson. He also stood in the tackle, looking to get the pass away. Nabel gives it away to Dunley. The Magpies hardly back 5 metres, let alone 10, and the crowd at Leichhardt letting Paul McBlain know all about it as well. Gillette, here he is at first receiver. Turns it back to Nevin. He stands and offloads. The Tigers have been able to get the pass away in the tackle so many times, but really, they've gone nowhere, and now McBlain is finally going to penalise. Well, he was playing an advantage, obviously. Gee, it was a long one.
The advantage. Oh, well done. I cannot believe that. It's gone through probably 10 sets of hands there for the Balmain side. They've come up with a mistake. Looks like Coxon leaves the field with a bit of blood. You can see the knot on the side just there. Not by much, running for about half a metre. But the balls, what's that? 1, 2, back to 0, 3. He goes to pass it. Nothing was really happening. And then they come up with a mistake there. So it's come through 5 pairs of hands. And then he gives the penalty.
Yeah, but his original 5 was only about 6 or 7 at any rate.
Well, they should have been penalised the tackle before anyway.
Shannon Nevin, who is 1 from 1, will try and put the Tigers back in front. Despite getting the penalty, there was just nothing going for them, was there? Sirinen was standing looking for somebody to run onto the ball, and everybody was just watching him.
Well, I think the big thing is that the West blind side is the side to attack. It doesn't matter if you're on the right or on the left-hand side. They've only got to make, 10 or 20 metres in from the left and hit back the right, and there's no defenders whatsoever for West.
They've really got to get their defence in order. It starts around that ruck area. The Balmain are making some good, easy yards up the middle. If they don't rectify that, see a few tries scored.
I think the word would go out from Wayne Pearce that Shane Dunley and Michael Gillette to start running and take on this Western Suburbs defence. Dunley was good despite the big loss by the Tigers against Penrith last week. Now Nevin from 38 metres out. Has put it over the black dot. A good kick. Balmain are back in front.
Well, I think the big thing now from Wayne Pearce, you'll see, there's Laurie Nickel, he's starting to throw a few, but I think Pearce will be saying, get out there and tell the boys we just need a good set of 6, get a good kick in for a change, and put them in their own 25, and they will crack.
They've got to start mounting a bit of pressure on this West side. As Gary just said, they need a good set of 6 coming out of here, some good hard running, and a positive kick with a good organised chase.
See if they can do it. They've hardly done so far in almost half an hour of football. Another long kick out almost to the dead ball line again from Kennedy. He's judged that to perfection, hasn't he?
He's got a big kick on him.
He should be kicking for goal.
Maybe he will if it's late in the game and they need a long-range attempt. Here's O'Neill to play it. Nabel sprints back to the right-hand side where he's taken by Coxon. Nevin, the fullback, picking up some quick metres from dummy half. Walker. Net by Mesha, along with Coxon. Here's Gillette. Finally, he gets the ball in good position for the kick. Can pick up a heap of territory with it, though, and Hodgson will get it back about 7 metres short of the halfway line.
Yeah, well, it was a pretty poor kick. They're virtually on the halfway now. And we're kicking from the 40. Not a real good kick as Shane Walker comes up with a bit of a high tackle.
Mate, come here. I've warned you, all right? I've asked you to come down. You come with a swinging arm and you come across here. I want them lower. I want them lower.
Shane Walker, not that pleased at the moment. An unhappy Tiger. The tackle was on John Scandalis. Well, he was certainly high. There was no doubt about that, despite the protest of Shane Walker. Paul McBlain choosing not to put him on report for that. We've seen tackles of similar ilk have players land themselves at the judiciary. So Harvey Howard now. He takes it forward, 23 metres away from the try line of the Tigers. Langmack working feverishly down the blind side.
Oh, good ball, Langmack.
And a chance now for the Magpies. Coxon, he's tackled 13 metres out. Dinova switches it back to the blind side. A good ball from Kennedy to Langmack and back to Kennedy. The captain, clever play. Kennedy will almost get across. It was his opposite number, Bubba Kennedy, who stopped him. Now Dinova looking for Ken McGuinness to run off his shoulder. He couldn't get the pass away. 3 Tigers there, but they're stretched to the left-hand side. That's where the Western Suburbs Magpies go. Langmack got it back to Mesha. McGuinness now. The Tigers were up quickly to stop them again. They slipped the pass. Mesha to Dinova. He kicks it. Grubbers for himself. A race for the ball. Donaghy got there first. They'll get it back with a goal line dropout. The Tigers hang on.
Well, the Tigers are at 6s and 7s over on the far side of the field, but I think the West attackers, as we see, Dinova just put the little grubber kick through into the in-goal area, getting a repeat set of 6, which will add to the pressure for Balmain. But I think the West attackers have just got to get a little bit deeper so they can take advantage. The Balmain defenders are getting themselves up in the line and they can't get the ball out to their wide-running players.
It's probably a good result too, though, Paul. He kicked a bit early on that tackle count, and he's going to get a repeat set of 6, as you said, but they've just got to control this and be patient with it. That's the biggest problem. They just want to throw the impossible pass.
Kennedy met by Mark O'Neill, who drove him backwards. Oh, Scandalis, despite the big knock. Comes forward again. There's the tackle from O'Neill on Damien Kennedy. And the Magpies again just outside the Balmain 20. Ken McGuinness darting quickly, heading back in behind the ruck. A good fast play the ball as well. Dinova to Langmack. Another overlap. McGuinness, though, looking for Jared Mills. Couldn't find him. Play on, says McBlain. It comes to George Jarlis. He grubbers now. Pouring through Hodgson. Doesn't get the bounce. Milford cleans up. It'll be another goal line dropout. Another set of 6 for West.
Yeah, the Balmain defence are up to it there. They had plenty of numbers out on the left, but just kept hassling and hassling. As we see the kick rolling into the in-goal area for another set of 6. Boys, how much longer do you think Balmain can hang on?
Well, they were nearly gone there in the lower Milford. He hadn't caught that ball. And of course, Hodgson would have scored. I'll tell you what, they've held on pretty well. They've scrambled good. But the best thing about the lower Milford there, he was nearly 10 metres and he had to run about 15 metres backwards to save that try. Excellent effort.
Leeds fields the goal line dropout. Kennedy brings it back again. James Gannon on for the Tigers in 18. And here's Fritz, back off the bench again as well.
I think this is where they need to get Ciro on the field to control these young blokes so they don't go crazy.
Georgialis working a short blindside. It was a good pass as well, flat to Coxon. Read equally as well by Webber. Dinover. Langmack has been instrumental in all the attack in the last 3 sets of 6. Now the Tigers through Bubba Kennedy. An intercept, and they go deep in the Magpies territory. Kennedy gets to his feet. A good quick play the ball. Milford takes on the winger. Hodgson was miles offside. McBlain says play on. Maybe the advantage being played again. They were offside. Everybody in front of him once again. Dunley turns it back to Duckworth. He heads back in towards the play the ball. Gannon. He flips it out the back to Hudson Smith, held onto by Scandalis.
That's just short on the left.
Numbers to the right-hand side for Balmain. Smith couldn't get the quick play the ball. They go there. There are still numbers out there. Dunley, flat-footed. A miscommunication again by the Tigers. Never now. He runs it to the line. Got it back to Gannon. Looking to get it to Kennedy. The ball went backwards. Play on, and Fritz has it. They don't want to score.
Oh, that was Leo Milford. He should have scored in that left-hand side. He just went a little bit early. Should have just stayed where he was. The young kid gave him a short ball here. Watch this, guts right around him. No, it's a pretty poor pass. It was Kennedy. I'll take that back. He just had to go back a yard. He was there.
Tigers had Western Suburbs gone on both sides of the ruck. They really were lucky to get away, West, without conceding a penalty because they were offside twice. 2 tackles in a row there. Hodgson, the most blatant of them, on the right-hand side of the field. Dinover kicking from his own 20-metre line. The Tigers will get it back in good position. Nevin. He's tackled. 12 metres inside West territory. Gillette at dummy half. Balmain searching for a way to find the try line.
This is where Big Ciro's just come on the field now. He just wants to hit one straight up the middle, Ciro, and really set his team alight.
Gannon got a good ball away, and here come Balmain, Gillette, Kennedy. Doesn't find the man again.
Well, the Balmain players, they just seem to be overrunning the ball. As we saw a couple of plays earlier, Laloa Milford could have scored, but he just overrun the ball as we see the ball going to ground there and into touch eventually.
Paul Gillette was calling him under then the whole way across, and Kennedy stayed on his outside. It just didn't read what the man with the ball was doing.
The big thing about that, the West defence was sliding very, very early, and that's why Gillette decided to try to drop the ball back inside, but decided to stay on the outside. If he did, that's where the hole's going to be, up the middle of the ruck.
Well, it was there, mate. They hadn't slid well enough either on the inside, and that's where they're going to get West eventually. He's going to be on the fringes on that inside, as you said, Gary, because Fritz and Harvey Howard and these Chris Yates are just not covering that extra metre.
Here's a Siri Lang now. Jumper 16 for the Magpies, picking up some good metres from the base of the scrum. Georgialis to Leeds. Oh, well, now McGuinness can't come up with the ball. They've lost it. Neither side at the moment can hang on to it for 6 tackles.
They look dangerous, though, didn't they, on that left-hand side? Their attacking side, throwing the ball around, getting on the outside of the Balmain players. There's Leeds. He knows the player's gone back inside. Correct move there by the young Kevin McGuinness, who just comes up with a mistake.
They seem to be attacking Balmain's right, too, there. Maybe Paul Langmack's picked up some sort of weakness out there.
I wonder what sort of odds you'd have got from the bookmakers on neither side scoring a try in the first half. Pretty long odds, you'd have thought. Here's Gannon now. Maybe they will. Nabel to Dunley. Duckworth gets away from Georgialis' tackle. Loses the ball, though, in a second tackle. West again will work it away from their own 20.
All I've got to do is hold the ball, and West are absolutely just shot ducks here. They'll just run out of dummy half and try and get away. As this is the play here. Oh, he's trying to flick the ball out. Just take the tackle, Duckworth.
Both sides are 10-1 at the moment to complete a set of 6. Nabel, a good tackle on Jared Mills, coming in from the left-hand wing to give his forwards a hand.
West have been under quite a bit of pressure now for some time. They should just be looking to work the ball out, and Dinover or Langmack has got to kick for touch so their players can get a rest, as we see Kevin McGuinness here just dropping the ball once again.
A good little short ball here by Fritz. He ran to the line, put Kennedy through the hole there, and he was through. And they're not listening to you.
No.
They're just making too many mistakes. I'll tell you what, the pass was on, though, by Fritz. That was a very, very good short ball.
As it has been on several occasions for them. A number of opportunities inside the Balmain 20. Couldn't finish movements off. Likewise for the Tigers. The paint will be peeling off both dressing rooms at half-time, you'd think. Two very important competition points up for grabs for both teams here. The Tigers need to win to stay in touch with the top 10. Now they get a penalty. Coxon it is, who's penalised for laying in the tackle just a little bit too long.
I'd take the kick for the line here. West have been under immense pressure for quite some time, and I think, yeah, as they are. You see Balmain kicking for touch now. They're going to try and get the try.
So they'll have it from the West 20. Under 2 minutes left in this first half. It's Milford with the first hitter. 10 metres in from this western touchline. Nabel back on the field for Hudson Smith. Here's Ciro trying to get something happening for his side in the final throws of the first half. Gillette looking for a runner. Finds Webber. Good tackle, though, by Kevin McGuinness. Gillette again at first receiver. Smith back on the park quickly. He's tackled 8 metres out. Nabel, a dummy half. Gillette again. They're fanned out to the left-hand side. The compressed line from West slides across. And Georgialis, a rather mesher, is there to make the tackle with Coxon. On the last now. Stimson gives it away to Sirinen. Gillette, harassed by Dinova. Gets the kick in finally. No pressure from the Tigers, and Leeds took the easiest of catches inside his in-goal area.
Once again, Wayne Pearce be very, very disappointed. The ball, if he was going to kick it, should have gone along the ground. He probably would have had another shot at them with 48 seconds to go in the game. But poor options once again from the Balmain side to put the ball in the air, Paul Green.
Mick Gillette eventually coming up with a kick there, which wasn't the best of kicks, but last tackle and Mark Stimson's coming up with the ball at first receiver. You know, you've got to get guys like Dunley and Gillette in there to start organising this team.
He was caught flat-footed and found Sirinen after that, so they really had a lack of communication there. And that final shot at the Magpies in this first half. 15 seconds left. Dinova puts in the kick for Georgialis. McBlain agrees with you, Gary Freeman. Georgialis in front of the kicker, and they'll barely have time to find the line here with the half-time siren sounding in just a few seconds.
Well, there you go. Georgialis, he was offside by about 2 metres there when he did go through.
You don't miss a trick, do you, Wiz?
That's because I'm up here. I can see what's happening.
Trying to referee the game as always. So one tackle for the Tigers.
Nothing's changed.
45 metres out from the Magpies line. Dunley shaping the kick, gives it away to Stimson. Well held off his bootlaces. Got it away to Kennedy. He drops it. The Magpies had thoughts about counter-attacking, but will finish at half-time. A tryless first 40 minutes at Leichhardt Oval. The Balmain, courtesy of 2 penalty goals, lead the Western Suburbs Magpies 4 points to 2. Balmain folklore that they go best, running towards that southern end. The fans, he will be hoping, Gary Freeman, you did it plenty of times, that's the case this afternoon.
Well, yeah, I don't know if I did plenty of times, but the guy that we did see on screen before, Ben Duckworth, he's a guy that's been playing very, very well for the Balmain side. Gets out nice and wide and can offload a ball.
Yeah, nothing breaks up a defensive line more than a forward that can hit the line and get an offload. It's like making 2 tackles.
The Magpies have first use of the football in the second half. Howard crashes across the halfway line. 40 minutes for one of these teams to take a firm hold of this game. It's there for the taking. Siri Lang now has been effective coming off the bench for the Magpies. Starting the second half, Dinova kicks back behind the ruck. Nevin with a stream of Magpies coming through on him did very well to take the high ball.
I did a great job there in taking the ball, but again, it's the Balmain defenders getting up the face of Leo Dinova. That's why that kick wasn't as high as it should have been. There goes Nevin. Never takes his eye off the ball. And I'll tell you what, that could nearly have been a penalty for tackling the player up in the air and catching the ball.
It was a very close run thing, as Michael Gillette will play it now. Paul Sirenen got to the advantage line very quickly. A good hit up from the captain. He is still struggling, though, with that knee injury. He is definitely on one leg.
Well, I'll tell you what, Western Suburbs, they're still not onside. This is the last tackle. Gillette needs to get a good kick in, as he does.
Bounces inside the 10-metre line, and Leeds tracks it down in the in-goal area, and he'll make it back into the field of play. He'll play it just 3 metres outside the West's try line. Taken forward by Jared Mills.
His positional play in attack and defence is second to none. He's not the most highly rated fullback in the comp, but I tell you what, he's always there, very sound.
West try and work it away from inside their own 20, and joining us on the sideline is the assistant coach for the Balmain Tigers, David Baysari. David, a very inept 40 minutes from football from both teams. What did Wayne Pearce have to say at half-time in the sheds?
He just said they've got to control the ball. You know, we haven't been getting to the kick, and that's what he wants from the side.
Is Gillette playing injured or that? Because he has been very, very quiet.
No, you know, the lost balls don't help him very much. You know, the forward's got to get a good roll on for him, so that's why I don't think he's getting much of the ball.
All right, David, thank you for your time. Good luck in the second half. Your team having a slender 2-point lead here as the Magpies find the sideline, the western touchline. There will be a Tigers loosen feed 20 metres out from their own try line. Jerry Mesher, the Western Suburbs hooker, packs in, and it's the Tigers almost coming away with the scrum win. Called back by McBlain. Now it's Donaghy who takes it to the open side. Kennedy.
Nice
straight through them into open spaces. Kevin McGuinness on his tail. He may not have the speed to get him. Ankle tapped him. Brought Kennedy down. It was a try saver. He'll play it though. 10 metres out. The Tigers need to spread it to the right. That's where they go. Duckworth to Webber. He'll be tackled but crashes across the line. They've scored at last.
Great work there by the Tigers. Little Bubba Kennedy ducking his head from the previous tackle. I thought he was going to go all the way. Well, Ken McGuinness did not give up on the chase. Here he goes. Watch him duck his head just there. The players went to go and take him high. McGuinness gives chase. I'll tell you what, great chase there by Dinover to get across there. The ankle tap. Very good play of the ball here. To play it, just get up and let the hands do the work. Go nice and wide. Here they go. They know they're way outside. Dunley did a great job. Duckwood did an even better job, and Webber finishes it off.
Yeah, weight of numbers just took its toll there. West struggling to get back on side and get their line set as we see Balmain go wide through Dunley, and that's Duckworth just through the hands, and a great try to Jason Webber, who I think is their leading try scorer, a very able player.
The big thing about it there, Dunley decided to run to the defence of Western Suburbs, which brought them in. He threw the nice long ball to Duckworth, then he just had to draw, catch and pass, and that was the end of the story for Western Suburbs. I think this is what Balmain need to turn around to make this into a winning game.
Bit of a decisive attack from Bubba Kennedy. You know, he really took the defensive line on. There was nothing on, but he just got the ball and really pinned his ears back. Come up with a good positive result.
Busted through a couple of defenders. He was streaming downfield. Kevin McGuinness was going to reel him in, but Kennedy, the ball in his arm, really showed a great turn of speed. What an exciting player he is. He's given his side a 6-point lead, with Shannon Nevin will try and make 8. A couple of wasted chances with the overlap in the first half by the Tigers. Finally, they've been able to use it. Nevin is perfect with the boot so far this afternoon. 2 from 2. Both penalty goals, of course, in the first half. Trying to convert the Webber try. So the Tigers have thrown their hand up. Couple of anxious looks to the post. Strikes it well, but pushes it to the right-hand side. So the difference remains a converted try 5 minutes into the second half. And it's Balmain over Western Suburbs, 8 points to 2.
The best thing about this try was that Dunley showed a lot of maturity. A lot of other players might have done. Same thing there with Nabel, just slow, take control of it. Good quick passing across the back line. Any player could have panicked there, but none of them did.
Duckworth fields the restart, gives it away to James Gannon. On the sideline now, joining us from the Western Suburbs Club, their assistant coach, Cole Murphy. And Colin, wasn't the start of the second half your team was looking for by any token?
No, it certainly wasn't. We just wanted to get to our kick and get it down their end, but weight of possession, we're struggling to get back on side, actually.
Yeah, well, I can't understand. Usually the West side do get back very, very early, then dig it up their face. But if you do lose Langmack, you lose probably all your game play making around them.
He's probably the most verbalist player in rugby league, so he does plenty of talk out there, and it's certainly lacking out there at the moment.
Cole, your side under plenty of pressure here again. We'll let you go. Thank you for your time. Good luck to the Maggies in the second half. The Tigers now on the last tackle. Spin it through Gannon, and now Walker. Gillette stands and kicks back towards the open side, coming through Webber on Jared Mills. He was in front of the kicker, according to McBlain.
Well, I reckon there was an opportunity wherever Balmain were going to have a run with the football on the last tackle. They should have done it there. There's only 2 defenders on the right-hand side. See them there? I think if Gillette had gone there, they had more opportunities there than putting the ball up in the air.
Well, whatever they choose to do on the last tackle, it's got to be positive. You know, if they're going to run the ball, then run the ball and go at it, rather than think, well, there's nothing on and just whack up a bit of a nothing kick.
Howard almost reversing into the line there. Mesher now 40 metres out from the Tigers try line. Kevin McGuinness is the dummy half to Dinover. Damien Kennedy backed away from the tackle of Naval. Stopped his progress enough for it to be completed. Another sloppy play of the ball as Kennedy tried to push forward. Back to the blind side through Georgalis. A ball that bounces a number of times before Hodgson cleans it up. Still 33 metres away from the Tigers try line. Haven't made much ground at all in that set of 6. Donaghy going backwards. Can't pick it up. Snatched out of the air by Jared Mills. The Maggies have hit straight back.
Try for Western Suburbs to number 2, Jared.
Well, Greg Donaghy, he had plenty of time to take that ball. He had no rush whatsoever. There were chasers getting through. There's the chasers out of the ruck area going for Dinover. Look, he got plenty of time to go up. But great work there by Jared Mills. Catches with the right hand, puts it in the left hand. That's a good way to strike back for the Western Suburbs Magpies.
Yeah, Greg Donaghy got himself in a good position to take this ball. He had his back to the defenders, and he had his back up there just behind in Nevin, but the ball popping out straight into Mills's hands. Put it in the left Duke and over the try line.
He timed the jump nicely, but in the end he was about a foot or so further away from the football than he thought when he left the ground, and Mills just took the simplest of balls and fell across the line. The second try of his first grade career for the Maggies, and they are back within 2 points.
Well, we didn't see any try scored in 40 minutes, and the next 5 minutes we've seen 2.
Well, that try to Balmain might have woke West up a bit, sparked him into action.
We may see a flood of tries, perhaps, in the second half. After the drought of the first 40, Leo Dinover, a difficult conversion attempt. 3 or 4 metres in from this Western touchline. 1 from 2 in the first half. Really taking his time, trying to level the scores up. Oh, floating back. It was going to miss to the left-hand side. It's skewed back inside the left-hand upright, and we are locked up at Leichhardt. 8 each between the Tigers and the Magpies.
Well, it doesn't matter how long you take to kick the goal. The little man, he's put it straight over where the Western Suburbs side wanted it, and he's out there revving his side. Let's get in them, boys. Let's get another good set of 6 in and get down their end.
Darren Fretz will work it back outside the West 20. A good return from the kickoff. Jerry Mesher clapping the hands, trying to get the Magpies moving quickly. Chris Yates, who started the game in the front row, hasn't spent a lot of time on the field. Tony Rodonicus has really worked the bench with Siri Lang, John Scandalis and Fritz, all spending plenty of time on the field. Here's Lang, met by Duckworth. Powell's away from him, another good run.
Geez, a strong runner with the ball, Siri Lang. He really takes some tackling. We see Dinover go to the line and McGuinness.
Working a short blind side. Kevin McGuinness was trying to get the arms free there to force the pass. He's dropped the ball, and the Magpies, through Georgialis and Dinover, were contending that it was knocked away by a Tigers defender. Donaghy was there, as was Duckworth. Paul McLean had nothing to do with it and said it will be a Balmain loosened feed.
Well, that was funny because Georgialis and Dinover were saying the referee, they were saying it was knocked down, they were saying play on, there's another set of 6. So it's good to see the players out there knowing the rules.
Everybody had a version.
Yeah, they were all wrong.
Gillette, right to Nevin, turns it back to Milford. He'll be tackled almost in the Balmain 40. Stimson, the captain of last week, to Dunley now. Mark O'Neill stepping back inside Dinover. He's wrapped up on the halfway line. Sirenen taking it forward, then offloading to Walker, who got that right arm free again. It is hard to get to ground. Dunley stands as well. Nable now. Once again, that flat-footed. The crowd here at Leichhardt imploring the Tigers to go forward. Stimson does just that.
Well, that's what they're doing. They're throwing the ball around just a little bit too much. They're going to go wide once again, but they need someone to just go forward.
Dunley to Duckworth, looking for that gap once again. Still tackles to work with for the Tigers. Dunley at dummy half, gives it away to Nable at first receiver. He just settles it. He's tackled 25 out on the last. Gillette will go to the air. It will come down around the 10-metre line. Pressure again for the Magpies. Batted backwards. Here's Walker. He grabs it towards the end goal. Getting back and cleaning up was Brett Hodgson. He may have knocked on or forced the ball inside his own in goal area. I think that's what's happened. And Paul McLean has ruled a goal line dropout.
Well, put it all
from Walker.
Put it all down to Milford, though. He got above everyone, knocked the ball back. Here's the big front row. He's put the ball on the foot. Very, very close. And correct decision there by referee Paul McLean.
Gee, there must have been a little bit of downward pressure right on the try line, and that's why he's ruled the goal line dropout. But the ball definitely was in the field of play when Hodgson made first contact. Here come the Tigers, though. They'll get it again for 6. Gillette fields it. Duckworth, tackled low by Dinover. Dunley at first receiver. With no back line set for Balmain. Dunley wanted to go to his right-hand side, but they were setting up for the next tackle. 30 metres out. Another slow play the ball. The Magpies doing a good job. Holding the tackled player on the ground. Then Webber through Walker. Looked to his left. Came back to his right. 20 out. Dunley goes past Sirenen. Gillette is tackled. Right in front of the sticks at the southern end of Leichhardt. Duckworth standing outside the halfback. Gets it to within 10. The last tackle again. Will they go to the air once more? Dunley it is. He does that. Plenty of Tigers coming through. Pressure for Mills, the try scorer for West. Loses the ball. O'Neill dives on it, and he scored a touchdown. Another drop bomb. This time the Magpies can't get it, and Balmain are back in front.
Well, it looked like there, I thought that actual Webber might have knocked the ball forward. Well, it's a great little kick here by Dunley. Goes to the line by a fraction, gets the kick up there. Plenty of chases there from Balmain. They all get in there. That's where I thought number 4, Webber had actually knocked the ball on with Mark O'Neill cleaning up. This will show it here, Paul Green.
And McBlain, he's got a pretty good view of what happens there, just ruling that did actually come off the West player, as we see. There's Webber. Can't really see it there. But one thing we've seen here is we've had a marked improvement in Balmain's kicking game. Right, the last couple of kicks, they've gone to the air, as we see another replay of the try. Well, it could have gone 50-50.
And it did go with Balmain, but it just looked then that Webber got his right hand in there and forced the ball out. But you play to what the referee says.
Play the whistle.
And he says 4 points to the Tigers, and they love it here at Leichhardt.
But as I was saying, the last couple of kicks Balmain have put up, their chasers have been able to get up and contest the ball. As we saw Milford on the other side of the ground just bat that ball back for Walker to put a little grubber kick, and that one there actually coming up with a try.
Never now can put them back out in front by a converted try. 24 minutes left. Plenty of time for the Magpies to hit back. Nevin kicks it. Balmain 14. Lead the Magpies 8, and Laurie Nichols just loves it. You'd expect no less.
He'll start throwing them all day.
Peter Mulholland, it's quite noticeable that Shane Dunley has taken control of this Balmain attack around the rucks, and it's working for them.
Yes, it is, Warren. I think that's probably the most important part of the half-time. Whatever they set in there at half-time has obviously worked with Dunley. I'd like to see Gillette also take a bit more control on the opposite side of the ruck, because you've got two opposite side kickers then and a bit more pressure on Western Suburbs.
Work it away from their own 30 through Duckworth. And Sirinen, despite being hampered by that injured left knee, he's still out there looking for more work. They come back to the open side though through O'Neill. The second of two try scorers for Balmain. Paul Langmack already showered and dressed on the sideline. That's a bad sign for the Magpies.
Well, he was the man that was really organising all their players. Mark O'Neill now plays the ball. And without him coming back on, I think they will struggle in the second half.
Gary, I think that leaves it open a bit more for Dinover, though, doesn't it? I mean, sometimes you've got too many Chiefs out there.
Yeah, it certainly does, but he's sort of a bloke that if he can say things are going to happen, they will turn up for the players. You know, and the players have got to trust Dinover's experience of the game to get them where he wants them to be.
Jared Mills now under all that pressure, tackled by Webber, the man who applied the pressure for the spilled bomb.
You can just see now the Western Suburbs side, they have not, they're all in just a big bunch. That's what I mean. Paul Langmack is a sort of a bloke that'll get out there and say, spread out, there's where the hole is, this is where we're going.
Coxon over the 40, loses the ball, and now the Magpies are really going to blow up here. They've lost possession. Steve?
The call said it was lost.
Who's got the call?
Who said it? The call said it was lost.
With his hand? There was no one near it.
Paul McLean explaining there that he got the call from the touch judge. And here it is. Shane Walker slammed Coxon to the ground. He got up. It did look as if Shane Walker had a little tug on the left arm of Scott Coxon as he got to his feet. Maybe they did have a complaint. Michael Gillette straight through them. Could have got there himself by field. Gives it away to Kennedy. The Tigers are in again. 18 points to 8. And a crucial call on a play the ball that went wrong for Western Suburbs has cost them 4, maybe 6 points.
Yeah, well, Scott Coxon was the man who come up with the mistake there. And before that scrum actually set, you can see Big Ciro going, come on, Tigers, we've got them. Just an easy run from the scrum here. Good ball there by Dunley. And he just gets on the outside of his man, and that is Leeds. And he just draws the man, passes the ball. And Bubba, in you go, son. Very, very happy. But Gillette, like you said, I think could have scored that try himself very easily.
Beautiful in and away there from Mick Gillette, just getting on the outside of Leeds, and we probably just didn't have the pace to pick him up. Could have gone all the way himself, but decided to give Bubba Kennedy a try.
Exactly what you do, Paul Green.
Absolutely.
2 tries in 4 minutes. And the Tigers have a commanding lead now, out by 10 points. Nevin can make it 12 with the conversion, of course. Kennedy, his 5th try. He has been prolific for the Tigers since coming from the bush.
And the big thing about it, we spoke at half-time that Gillette and Dunley needed to take control of the game. One, Dunley's done the kicking, but Gillette starting to run the ball, which is putting the Western Suburbs side under a lot of pressure. This, as Paul Green already said, that little in and away, very, very well done, and could have easily scored the try himself.
If the Magpies go on to lose this game, they will talk at some stage of that decision by Paul McLean and his touch judges to rule a knock-on in the play of the ball by Scott Coxon. Gave the Tigers the ball, and they used it at the first opportunity. Nevin strikes it nicely. He's on song this afternoon. Balmain lead by 12. 20 points to 8 over the Magpies.
Wes, I just think on that too, we would talk about beating Andrew Leeds for speed with that in and away, but I think Kenny McGuinness probably left him stranded a little bit too then. He's gone up off his line a little bit early, and perhaps had he been tighter in, that might not have occurred.
Well, the big thing too with Ken McGuinness is that he was actually looking after a centre man who he thought may or may not get the ball. I think the man who's got the ball, that's the most important person on the field, and you've got to take him. whether you're sliding or whatever. Jerry Mesher.
But as you said, Wish, he's got his hands full with Bubba Kennedy. I mean, he's got enough on his plate there, let alone to worry about Mick Gillette.
Here comes another penalty for Balmain. Mesher was almost penalised a couple of tackles previous. This time he is in there a little bit too long.
Just getting a little bit hot under the collar was Jerry Mesher, but the thing with the Western Suburbs side, they know that now that the game may be out of their reach, so they've got to try and turn things around, and maybe it might just get a little bit more physical.
McPherson now, Georgialis up quickly, but can't stop. McPherson offloading, here's Nevin angling for a gap.
Great offload there from McPherson.
Nabel sees a gap and almost goes straight through them. Kevin McGuinness read it well, and a good thing as well. Dunley away to Webber. One of 3 try scorers now in this second half of Balmain, but Dave lost it. Webber makes the mistake.
A little bit unlucky there because I think they really have got Western Suburbs on the ropes. And Webber just come up with a mistake with a drop ball just there. And there could have been a slight little Western Suburbs hand in there too at the same time.
There's an old Tiger talking.
Very old.
Stay there, go.
18 minutes remaining. West need to score. Do it sometime the next couple of possessions. You would think, oh, Brett Hodgson almost does his best to hand it over. The pass was behind him from Dinover, and he did quite well, in fact, the winger in the end, to hang on to it. Howard getting them going forward again. Darren Willis charging at the defence. Mesher, quite a scandalous, heavy contact there, and Mark O'Neill has gone straight to the ground. Was it Hudson Smith? He was hit very, very heavily, and he went straight to the ground.
I think they clashed heads.
I know that.
Goes in to make the tackle.
He was knocked almost straight out. You would think, looking at that.
He didn't move much once he hit the deck. I think just a heavy head clash. Scandalous.
It is again.
Yeah.
Oh, just the side of the head. He's asleep before he hit the ground.
Scandalous wasn't all that well either. There's the end on look. Right above the left ear is where the contact was made on Hudson Smith. He went into the turf face down, and that was a very awkward way to fall, of course. As you'd expect, a deal of concern for him.
Good work, though, by Paul McBlain. Seen that the player was injured straight away, stopped the play, got everyone on there as soon as possible.
We're going to take every precaution here. The stretch is straight out. The ironic part of it is that Hudson Smith quite often plays in headgear. Today he's come out without it. It might have been a fact that could save him in a situation like that from being concussed.
You never know. We'll never know now.
Exactly. It may still have happened whether he was wearing the headgear or not.
I think he just got hit in the right spot on the jaw, on the top of the head, I should say, near the temple, and he was out before he hit the ground.
If he wasn't, the ground would have knocked him out too, the way he hit it. And certainly on the way down.
There it is again.
You're right, was it straight on the jaw there, just on the point of it. Look at that.
Just very unlucky, really.
Yeah. Striking him flush on the side of the face. And off the bench, he's having a good game as well. 10 tackles and 5 hit-ups. And a lot of concern being shown for the bench player for the Tigers. Back in action, though. And a kick being rolled into the touchline, in fact, over it, taken there, I think you'll find, by Jared Mills, and it should be a Balmain loosened feed as a consequence. They'll have to work it away from their own 20 here. Greg Donaghy had it covered.
He had it covered, but I tell you what, if that ball had taken a little left-hand turn, I mean, in all sorts of trouble, because there's plenty of chases from Jared Mills. There's Siri Lang out there, who's now playing in the second row, which is very unusual from a winger to go the second row.
Well, he's big enough, there's no doubt about that.
Gary, he's been using Darren Willis in there a lot today too. Normally a winger, so obviously they want to get the quick men into the forwards for some reason.
Well, I think the other reason too, Peter Mulholland, is that he's had so many injuries, he just can't find enough players to fill those positions, and he's got to manufacture second rows from all over the place.
Shane Walker now standing and getting that right hand free again. How many times has he done that today? Battling is Dunley. Harris by Howard and Willis, who goes on with it all. Dunley now wants to be careful.
Shane, back off, back off.
He got up presenting the tackle.
Shane, Shane.
Dunley might be in a little bit of trouble. He got up presenting the tackle. Here's Paul McBlain.
You're coming in with the arm, all right? You've come in with a swing. Don't walk away from me, please, Darren. You've come in with a swinging arm. He's taken offence to it. You get the swinging arm out of the tackle, and we're not going to have it. You're a lot better than that.
Now, Paul McBlain isn't going to speak to Shane Dunley after he got back to his feet. Scandalis was across the top. Howard was there. Willis came in. He was determined to drag Dunley to the ground. Well, it was Tempest fraying at a deal of rate there, and well, Dunley lunged forward with the head. Maybe that could be something the match review committee takes a look at during the week.
I think the big thing about it that no contact was made.
Duckworth with the Tigers inside the Magpies 30. Oh, Darren Fritz coming across the top there. They need to be careful here, the Magpies, and calm down. Nabel gets away from one, heads for the try line. It's Fritz who comes again to make the tackle. He's forced a knock on as well, so some good play that time from the front rower.
Very good play because he's covered probably about 15 to 20 metres to get to Nabel. But the big thing was when this young kid makes the break here, the referee, Paul McBlain, actually got on the road of Andrew Leeds, and you can see him, he says, get out of the road. And lucky for him, Darren Fritz was in cover.
Well, the game isn't beyond the Magpies. They're down by 2 converted tries. There's still a quarter of an hour to play. They don't cool down. Too many penalties will virtually rule them out of any chance of coming back into it.
Well, without stating the obvious, Hudson Smith's concussed, but they've got a he's got a cut behind the ear as well where that contact was made. So we'll try and get another update on him in a moment.
Darren Fritz angling towards the left-hand side of Leichhardt Oval as the Maggies look at it. Here's Howard getting a pass away. Ala, his opposite number, Shane Walker, taken out of the air by Damien Kennedy. A good ball back on the inside for Ken McGuinness. He looks towards the line. A great ball away to Hodgson. Oh, what a try by the Magpies. They are back in a big way.
Wow, what a great try by the Maggies. That's the way to strike back. They were sort of losing their way of fraction, getting a little bit upset with all the play. But Ken McGuinness and Damien Kennedy, what about the pace of the big second row? Harvey Howard again starts it. Nice long ball here by the brother McGuinness, and Kevin steps up the right foot, goes straight through. What about the little inside ball there? That's tremendous. He decides to take the fullback on the left-hand side, and then the Balmain players, they've run over top of each other as Hodgson now goes in the corner to score.
Yeah, it all started with Harvey Howard's offload there. As we see Kennedy, the big right foot step, he can really move for a back rower. Nice little flick pass back to Ken McGuinness, who put the foot down. Just drawing Nevin over to his winger in the eventual try score. As we see in the background there, the Balmain players just getting in each other's way. And he also had Dinover inside unmarked.
Well, he was one backing up Ken McGuinness. All he had to do is he was looking to go underneath the post to make this kick a little bit easier.
Hodgson certainly had ideas about that. When he saw Nabel there, he thought, well, just put it down and take the 4. Difficult conversion once again for Dinover. Almost 25 metres out. Once again, he's hooked this. The times he's missed, that's where he's missed this afternoon. They are back in it. 8 points down, and still plenty of time for Western Suburbs.
Yeah, you're saying it was started by Harvey Howard's offload, but just have a look at Mark Stimson come out of the line here too on this long pass. Had he stayed in that line, perhaps that break wouldn't have occurred in that hole in the line, but that's an absolutely superb ball. And McGuinness just does everything right, doesn't it, at the end? It's just absolutely superb. They're back in the game, West, but what odds on a field goal sooner or later too from Balmain, just to make sure everything's right?
As long as they can get themselves organised inside the Magpies 20, something that hasn't happened on too many occasions this afternoon.
The big thing with this guy who just took the ball up, Harvey Howard, he's only been back for 2 weeks. And he's virtually played, I reckon, out of the 80 minutes, he's at least played 55 to 60 minutes.
He's just having a looking to the sideline. I think he's heard you, Wiz. He wants a break.
He's got the hands on the hips. We were told as players never to do that.
Aaron Fritz goes within 5 metres of the halfway line. Kennedy offloading to Leeds. Tigers' defensive line has been solid in this set of 6. Dinovan now chipping for himself. Nobody at home for Balmain. Only the bounce of the ball beat Dinovan because he was going to regather, and there were alarm bells ringing for the Tigers.
Well, the Tigers, I think they've shut up shop. They think they've got this game won. This is the little chip and chase. Just like you said, and the bounce of the ball, just dead set lucky. Otherwise, Mark O'Neill, he would not have got it. And I think Dinovan had been a one-on-one against Nevin. Shane Walker now gets a little bit of a rest.
Wayne Pearce will be imploring his side not to put the whip away. They're far from wrapped up this game. Duckworth now inside the 40. On the last tackle, Gillette, the first receiver. Kicking, looking to roll the ball into the in-goal area. It's going to pull up perhaps. Well, Jared Mills wasn't taking any chances. He grabbed it and got back into the field of play. So some good play by the winger.
Well, Maggies are going to go wide straight away every time they get the ball.
Hodgson. They spread across the face of the uprights. Don't back up any metres for the forward motion, but they made plenty of yards to their right-hand side.
Balmain have got to be careful that, as Gary already mentioned, they don't shut up shop and think they've got this game won. West well and truly aren't out of it yet. Another try, anything can happen.
Mesha, way to Fritz. He's had plenty to do in this second half. Dinovan running at the line, tackle. All in all, grabbed 2 by Webber. Dinovan took the odds to it on the last, and now he'll be penalised for not being square at the play of the ball.
He can't do it. He can't come around the ball's clear of the ruck.
He's done so many things right there. I think he took the right option trying to run the ball there. The only problem is that his backup, they thought he was actually going to kick it. The ball's on the ground. He's entitled to do that.
The Tigers were disorganised because there was no dummy half there, and Webber had to just lunge on the ball.
But as soon as a ball is placed on the ground, you're allowed to move up in defence.
But I don't think the markers can move until it clears the ruck. The defensive line can move up.
Well, how can you have that for one and then from another? Can't do that, Paul. You're kidding.
I don't like the rules.
Another contentious call. The Tigers spill the ball. Well, and now a wild pass thrown by Jared Mills, and again they spread it to the right-hand side inside their own 10. Oh, Damien Kennedy! A terrific ball. Here goes McGuinness, trying to weave his way past Nevin. Oh, the Magpies counter-attacking from their own try line. Leeds gives it away to Kevin McGuinness. He pushes away from Webber, gets away from Dunley as well. The Magpies are hot to trot. They can't stop him. They'll drag him to ground 23 metres out. Mesha now from dummy half. Flings the ball back behind the ruck. Picked up by Asiri Lang. He gets inside the Tigers' 10.
Well, the Maggies have got to go right here. Balmain are very short.
That's where they go. Oh, bullet thrown by Kevin McGuinness. Picked up by Leeds to Ken McGuinness. Turned back inside to Brett Hodgson. Tackle on the 4th. Still 10 metres out. The Magpies on the charge. Damien Kennedy cuts one out, gives it to Dinovan. Had an overlap. Jared Mills was unmarked. Dinovan didn't realise he put the kick in. They turn over possession. They had a man over on the left wing.
Well, from Kennedy way up the other side, the little step up the right foot, puts the ball up. Again, they should have let the ball go through their hands there. They had more opportunity of probably getting the ball back in goal. I don't know what George Dallas was doing. The ball already gone past.
Not a bad option, but just a little bit too heavy on the kick. If that kick pulls up, they get another set of 6.
And now they've really got to defend up very nice and tight here, the Western Suburbs side.
Yeah, they're looking for a big set of 6 here. They've got to put the pressure back onto Balmain if they want to come up with a try. Keep them in their own half.
The lights taking effect. The darkening Leichhardt by the minute. Here is Mark O'Neill, taken very heavily by Kevin McGuinness. Around the shoulders, says Paul McBlain. Dunley searching for a runner. Finds Duckworth, who can't make gap there. Coxon and Kennedy, the tacklers. Gillette rushes the kick as Mesha came to him. Knocked backwards by Jared Mills. That's how McBlain rules. Mills is wrapped up by Donaghy.
Well, I think this is where, once again, absolute shocker from Andrew Leeds. He's gone to throw the pass, and it's hit his knee or his hip. He can't believe it. You will not see that bloke make that same mistake ever again. There you go. Hits his knee. A little bit disappointing there.
Well, he was beaten in the defensive line, of course, by Gillette, who set up the Kennedy try and makes that mistake there. And as you say, a couple of very characteristic mistakes by Andrew Leeds, who is usually absolutely rock solid at the back for the Magpies. Darren Fritz has had a big afternoon, still making his way back to full fitness, of course. Dunley turns it back for Bubba Kennedy. He couldn't come up with it. We'll have another scrum. This time the Maggies will get it. Jerry Mesha realises time is running out for Western Suburbs. He runs to the ball to try and get the scrum set as quickly as possible.
Well, the ball was just a fraction high from Dunley too. Right idea, because everyone had gone chasing the little half of Dunley across, and he could have got the ball back inside just a little bit lower. Could have been a better result for them.
Time blown back on. West, 80 metres away. Oh, long ball. Looking for Hodgson. Found him too. Pushed away from Milford. They found space on the right-hand side at will in this second half. And they've spread it early in the count.
Balmain really used to have the best defence, but now they're just 6s and 7s. Missing tackles. Should not be.
Dinova gives it away to Kennedy. All rounded up by Jason Webber. Gives it away to Harvey Howard. Sirenen's there to stop him with Webber again, who was down low. Dinova away to Georgialis. Leeds. Couldn't get the ball to him. Not played at by the Tigers. And Gillette comes up with it. So a wasted chance for the Magpies. And they are running out of time. McPherson now for Balmain. Offloads again. He's done that several times in this second half.
He's got a couple of good offloads away in this second half. Just breaking up the West defence.
I think this is where Balmain now, they need to go wide straight away. If Ciro takes this one forward, straight after that, go wide, because I'll get the Western Suburbs side short as Walker goes for a burst.
They were looking for Sirenen. Walker was aware of it and went straight through them. Gannon will play it. Walker looking for runners on the blind side. There was nobody there. A wasted tackle for Balmain. Now they're on the last. Duckworth is at first receiver. The ball, though, goes for Sirenen.
Good kick, Sirenen.
He puts it into the air, gets the Bronx cheer from the crowd at the same time. Another chance for Shannon Nevin. 6 to go. So Balmain, an important possession now for them with time running out. Less than 4 minutes left for the Magpies. Sirenen stands, gets it back to Donaghy. He pinned the ears back, but he was brought down by Kevin McGuinness. Dunley stepping back inside Willis to Duckworth. Numbers, plenty of them to the left-hand side for Balmain. Duckworth couldn't get the pass away. Webber. He gets it back to Sirenen. Here's O'Neill. The pass was low and in front of him, and he couldn't hang on to it.
Well, Ciro, he's doing it all, isn't he? He's putting the kicks across field. He's taking the next one up. He's standing, delivering the ball a little bit out in front of Stimson. The big man gets a rest, gets a great standing ovation from the crowd. Tremendous work from the big fella, because he is really playing on one leg. Here he goes. On ya, buttocks. That was his nickname. Big Sironen.
Well, West running in circles now through Georgialis, down by 8 points. They need a converted try in this set of 6 for there to be the remotest of chances.
Well, this is where you got to be really watching the Western Suburbs side, because they'll just throw the ball everywhere and try and pick up players if they can back up.
Well, they got nothing to lose, have they?
That's right.
Ticking. They've got to try anything.
Mills is tackled now, 3 metres, still on the west side of halfway. Here's Howard. Offloads well to Mesha. Good ball to Dinova. Another chance for the Maggies. Here's Damien Kennedy again. Great pass to Leeds. Offered it back on the inside. Now it goes back to Kevin McGuinness. He'll pick it up. Hemmed in by the Tigers. Flings it out the back. Kennedy is back there to wrap it up.
Well, that's what they're going to do, aren't they? The Maggies are just going to let the ball have some air.
Long pass for Scandalis. Duckworth stopped him. Away to Asiri Lang. Oh, he got it away as well. Aren't they staying alive? Good ball from George Jarlis to Mills. Great tackle by Duckworth in cover.
And he's injured himself.
McGuinness of the Ken variety gives it away to Scandalis. Long pass intercepted by Milford. And that will be all for the Magpies.
Oh, great bit of play there by the Magpies. Really letting the ball have some air, thrown around the place. The other big thing about it is Bubba goes for a bit of a scoot. Is that everyone turned up. They knew they were under pressure. They knew they had to try and get a try. And did they try very hard, Paul Green?
Yeah, very entertaining football from West. They realised they had nothing to lose. The clock slowly ticking away. So they were prepared to just chance their hand and throw it around, but the lower Milford coming up with the intercept.
Lawson loses it as he went forward, but the man stripping it was the second man in. And now the Maggies will be penalised 10 metres for kicking the ball away. And as a consequence,
you see two men
speak to Leo Dinova.
Oh, you know, I cannot believe a player cannot hold on to the ball like that. There's only one player around the ball. He should be able to hold on to it, Paul Green. What do you think?
Yeah, it's
like probably Ken McGuinness had virtually nothing to do with the tackle.
Yeah, that's right. But I think frustration just keep creeping into West game now. They, as we've mentioned already, they realise they're running out of time. They're just prepared to try anything. They need that football.
Inside the last 30 seconds, James Gannon will settle it 12 metres out from the Magpies line. Can they finish with a flourish? O'Neill straightens it towards the post, held onto by Scandalis.
I think if they go left and run at Harvey Howard, that's where the hole will be.
They go that way. Dunley steps off his left foot, slapped across the face by Scandalis. And they've turned it over. The siren sounds, and Balmain have broken a 4-game losing streak. The Maggies, though, are going to try and go the length of the field. They lose the ball, and that will be a knock-on and the game. Balmain run out winners. It wasn't convincing, but they'll be more than happy to take the 2 points. 20-12 at full time.